Let's learn about rags. Alright. That was a badass intro. Rags. What you need to know for rags is really pretty simple. Keep them clean all the time, and always have a perfectly clean one for every job. So, when you have your rags, you're gonna have a 2-rag system. 1 rag is gonna be used as your mop. This is for commercial and residential and everything. 1 rag is gonna be used as your mop. This can be for cleaning the floors, cleaning the sills that have a lot of water on them, cleaning anything. If you need to use it on the window to scrub an extra hard thing, that's the mop. And then you have always a perfectly clean one. The perfectly clean one is for detail work. That's on the glass, so that you don't leave dirt and stuff that's on the mop on the window. So if you use a dirty rag on the window and you frame out the window and get all the water off of it, you're gonna leave a dirt frame on it. And when that dries in like 5 minutes, everyone's gonna see the dirt frame around the window. So always have a perfectly clean rag. You need to do rag laundry pretty frequently. I would say probably every week, close to it. But other than that, it's pretty simple. I mean, it's just a rag. So let's get into some examples that I want to go over of just like basic technique. This first one is pretty easy. It's got sills that aren't really typical, but what I do here is kind of really jam my finger into the rag, which gives me a really good sharp edge to put in the corner of the window. So when it's these little ones, I'll put my finger in the rag and then jam it into the corner. And what I'll do is I'll ride the sill, not the glass. I rarely put this actually on the glass. I'll ride the sill all the way down. Same here, riding the sill all the way down. See, I shifted there. When you're this into the rag, you can feel it getting wet, and once it gets too wet, you're not picking up any more water. So when it got too wet, I shifted a little bit to this dry spot on the back here and went down. Now, inevitably, you're going to leave, like it's gonna get too wet, and you're gonna leave a spot on here, right here, where the water kind of goes to the side of it. So you can go down once and then shift the rag to a different dry spot. Like I always shift the rag to a different dry spot every time I use it. Shift the rag to a different dry spot and then use your knuckle here and then run that along the window on a dry spot on the clean rag. That'll take care of everything. Another example of that right here, right at the end there, I left a little bit, saw it, and then I went back down. This is for the sides of the glass too. Now we're gonna go over the bottom of the glass. If you look at the sills before you clean them, like right here, it's really, really unprofessional looking to leave drips on the sills. So what we try and do here is be different from everybody and not leave it looking like crap. So clean up as much as you can on the outside, and there are various techniques to get the water off of the sill normally, and that usually does the trick. But in cases where they're odd sills like this, where they're kind of tiered, you need to use a rag. And as you can see here, if you leave it like that, it's gonna look like garbage, and it's gonna dry, and that soap's gonna stay there, and it's gonna look funky. So here, obviously it looks pretty good. And I know what you're thinking, hey, Tyler, you left some soap in the corner of the window. Saw it, dude. Got it. Now, going on to houses. Houses, oh my gosh, rags are so important on houses. Don't drip in the customer's house. Ever. No drips. No drips in customer houses. So when you start the customer's house, whatever window you do, when I do houses, I have probably 4 rags. I have 2 in my front pockets, 2 in my back pockets. The two in my front pockets are the ones I use the most, and the two in my back pockets are what I do here. I'll drop them on the floor wherever I'm cleaning, whether it's carpet, wood floor, concrete tile, whatever. Put it on the floor so that you're gonna drip. No one's perfect, you're gonna drip. Even when you're carrying the thing around, it's gonna drip. Squeegee, Wash Wand, both of them will drip. You can see in the video too that there's still drops coming down. Even though I'm catching it with the Wash Wand, there's still drops coming down. And especially on interior, I'm extra careful. You can see I'm not going super fast. Okay, so here I put the Wash Wand, the scrubber, underneath the squeegee when I finish it. When I finish it there's gonna be a lot of water that drips off in that one straight line when you finish. So to catch most of that water, I'll put my squeegee down, and it varies instance to instance if you can do it, but on this one, I did because I didn't want it going into that track, because then you have to clean the track and it's really deep and gross and stuff, so I don't really usually clean that. So to save myself, I put the Wash Wand down. And then I scrub the front of the door with the rag, and then look at that, perfectly clean, no drips on the floor, no nothing. Reset the rags, and then do the next window. Okay, on this one, I'm just going over this again, putting your finger in there and jamming that real close. Right here, make sure you're gonna hit the door handles in the lock with the Wash Wand, you're going to, so wipe those off. It's a real easy thing to forget, but don't do that, you'll get yelled at sometimes. And then again, on these small, shallow sills, get your finger in the corner. And as you can see here, the blade is never going to get perfect on every single edge of the window that meets the sill. It's never gonna get perfect. There's gonna be some drops. Usually it's on the top of the window. That's why I always say check the tops, because that's the biggest thing you'll forget. The tops here, I left a pretty big line. It doesn't look like it would drip, but if it dries, people would see that when they move the screen door or when the sun hit it right. So again, put your finger in there, drag the top of that sill, and then save yourself all that time and looking like an idiot not grabbing the top of that, and look, it comes out perfect. So moral of the story is be super, super clean with your rags. Super, super clean. Clean, careful, don't drip on anything, don't drip on anyone. Absolutely nothing gets on anyone. So that's really it for rag work. Just be extra, extra careful. You can never use too many rags, and you can never be too careful with your cleaning with the rags. So that's it for rag work.